Alright, so we've gone in to pay the bill, and when they've given us the invoice, I've realized that I didn't account for tax. So we're about 7 grand short. And I mean, the money we have left is literally me and Carl's wages. So we don't actually know exactly when the next funding will come in. We needed a little bit of cash to help us get by and kind of see this period through. And now we've had to give it all up in order to pay this final bill. So we've come back to the UK with no money. But at the same time, we're also kind of happy because we know we got our next stage of funding coming in. So we've got back, we've done our reports for our investors, we sent them off. And then the guy who basically pulled me aside at that meeting, he emailed me. So this was our lead investor. He was the guy who kind of was making everything happen. There was another investor there, but we didn't get to speak to him. He's kind of big in the game. So yeah, the lead investor has sent me an email basically saying that he's having some personal problems like family issues and he's gonna have to pull out of the investment. So we've come back, we got no money, and now we just found out that the next stage of funding that we were gonna get is not actually coming anymore.
What the fuck is this? Whose ass didn't I kiss?
Carl's left his job. Like before we went to Bulgaria, he quit his job to do this. Like we were gonna do this properly, full time. We thought that we've got 2 stages of funding, we got 70K, what could possibly go wrong? So like I said a few episodes ago, I was really good at getting people's email addresses. So even though we didn't get to speak to this guy, I thought I'm just gonna shoot. I'm just gonna try and contact him and see what happens. This was do or die for us at this point. So I decided that I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna be persistent and I'm gonna push until I get what I need. So I kind of made peace with the idea in my head that he is either going to tell me yes or he's going to tell me to fuck off, and I was completely fine with the with both outcomes. Basically it was just, yeah, it was do or die at this point. I had to make something happen. So I started sending him proposals. He turned down loads of them, but eventually I managed to get him to give me, it was like more of a personal investment into myself. I made a proposal for him to invest in me. I said like, I am gonna do this. I am passionate, I'm driven, I know what I'm doing, I have a plan, so invest in me. So I managed to get him to give me 20K. This wasn't enough for us to go back to Bulgaria and build what we had been building already. So I had to find another developer that was gonna work for cheap. And instead of building an iOS and Android app, we were gonna build a web app. So just something that you load up on a browser. It would work on your phone just as it would work on a desktop computer, but there's no dedicated app. So we built this, we started doing our testing. If you go on the Fantagious profile, on our highlights, we've got a, I think it's the founding users highlight. And everyone in there is one of our founding users who signed up to the early app testing, our very first beta test. So once we gathered all that testing data, we managed to prove the concept would work. We managed to prove that people actually saw growth and that it was the kind of growth that was sustainable and organic as well. So we took this data and we started approaching investors again. And then around this time, there was an app called Captivate on the iPhone. And basically what it would allow you to do, it was a growth tool, an automated growth tool for Instagram. So what it would do is it would follow a load of people and then it would unfollow everyone who didn't follow you back, and it would do it automatically. Now this was honestly such a great tool. So I only got to use it for about 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, I was gaining around 1,000 followers a week on both pages. And then after this 2-week period, Instagram made some updates to their platform, which basically locked out all of these growth tools. Now, after they did this, obviously everyone who was using these tools no longer has a tool that they can use in order to grow. So we had a load of YouTubers, Instagram creators, influencers, all reaching out to us basically saying like, when is something like this gonna work for us? So we always had this in our plan. Like I was gonna do, it was gonna be something like maybe separate apps. So it'd be one for like music, one for filmmakers, one for photographers, that kind of thing. But when we had these people messaging us, I started thinking like, it would be really good if we could have everybody under one roof. And at the time I was going out with a YouTuber, and I remember she used to complain all the time about the fact that her music used to get flagged for copyright, even though she was paying for the license to be able to use this music, which led me to start thinking that artists are always looking for promotion for their music and YouTubers are always looking for music for their videos. So if we were to put everybody under one roof, there are so many different collaborations that could take place across crafts and across genres. And then again, after a few brainstorms, I've got a whole new app called Fantagious. And obviously we had to redo everything, so the business plan had to change, the pitch deck had to change. So we've put all this together, packaged it up, and we've started to approach investors. Now we've got like 10 investors interested, about 2 of them that I'd say are very close to possibly making an offer. And just as we were setting meetings, so we set meetings with 2 investors and we had about 7 or 8 other meetings that we needed to line up. Just as we were doing this, I'm saying we were days away. COVID hit, everything was locked down, and investors immediately pulled back and we couldn't get hold of anyone. So now I'm really thinking that we are dead in the water.
Who's proper fuck now then?